Welcome to another episode of Untold Legends, where I take a deep dive into your favorite fictional stories. Last time on the Mortal Kombat Combatant series, I covered Earthrealm's Wind God and brother of Raiden, Fujin. From his development and inclusion as a spin-off game boss, his moments of relevancy in the series, all the way through his role at the forefront of MK11 Aftermath. Today I'll be covering the four-armed Queen of the Shokan, the first female Shokan combatant, the mighty Sheeva. Before we get started, today's sponsor is my Patreon page. If you'd like to help support my content, you can become a GamerThumbTV patron and gain access to my Patreon feed and community tab, early access to YouTube videos, weekly progress reports, behind-the-scenes posts, and exclusive sneak peeks at upcoming projects. Click the link in the description below. Let's get back to the history of Sheeva.
Your motives bewilder me, Sindel. Manners, Sheeva.
Sheeva's addition into the Mortal Kombat series as a combatant can be attributed to both fans of the series and Goro. After the launch of the original Mortal Kombat, the four-armed sub-boss Goro became immensely popular among the fanbase as a terrifying endgame obstacle, a tradition that continued with the inclusion of his replacement Kintaro in Mortal Kombat 2. Fans had been requesting a playable version of Goro, and the development team decided to meet them in the middle for Mortal Kombat 3. Goro wouldn't be playable just yet, but a brand new character would satisfy the masses. This new combatant was developed as a female in order to make her physically smaller, which would take up less space on the screen, and unlike most of the other characters who were played by live actors, a stop-motion animated clay figurine was created and shot in various different poses. During early production, she was given the extremely creative codename She-Goro, and was eventually named Sheeva, inspired by the Hindu goddess of destruction of a similar name. And from there, Sheeva became the first standard playable Shokan character in the Mortal Kombat series, introduced in Mortal Kombat 3.
Sheeva, choose your destiny.
Technically, Goro was playable in the Game Boy port of Mortal Kombat, but he was unlocked via a code. He wasn't a standard playable character. And if you remember playing as Sheeva at home, then you weren't playing the home console port of Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. With the addition of extra characters compared to the original Mortal Kombat 3, Sheeva was removed due to the memory constraints of the time. Of course, she was kept for the arcade version. Aside from the games, Sheeva also made it into the live-action sequel, Mortal Kombat Annihilation, in a very small role. Her hatred for Motaro and the Centaurians remained, and she mostly looked like what Sheeva should look like. Originally, she did have a much bigger part to play and had an entire fight scene scripted against Raiden, and it was all cut out of the movie. Instead, she just gets squished like a bug by Liu Kang.
The date's over.
In the animated series, back in the day when M-rated properties were awesomely marketed to the children of the 90s, Sheeva also played a small role. For some reason, she possessed a strong hatred of Raiden, and Liu Kang didn't really trust her.
Sheeva!
Liu Kang, no! Sheeva is our ally.
You can't be serious. How can we possibly trust Sheeva after everything we've been through?
I understand your fears.
Believe me, mortal. I've taken my last order from Shokan.
Oh yeah?
The in-game history of Sheeva in Mortal Kombat begins with Shao Kahn's conquest of the peaceful realm of Edenia. He murdered King Jared, took Queen Sindel as his wife, and Kitana as his adopted daughter. After he merged Edenia with Outworld, the Edenians now shared their existence with the Shokan, a society of multi-armed humanoids from the underground city of Kuatan, and said to be descended from dragons. Their kingdom was a monarchy, ruled by a singular king and queen, whose children battled each other for the right to become the heir to the throne. Their society was a ruthless one, and survival of the fittest was a rule to live by. A perfect army that Shao Kahn used for multiple conquests. The Shokan fought for and remained loyal to Shao Kahn, and in return, he addressed the concerns of Kuatan. Sheeva was from the Draco lineage of Shokan. Their skin was closer to human beings, versus the more feline features of the Tigrar line, and they were considered a higher class of Shokan citizens. She was handpicked by Shao Kahn after the conquest of Edenia to look over his new queen Sindel and her daughter Kitana, a reward for stopping an attack by Edenian rebels. Over time, Sheeva became close to the royal family and taught Kitana how to defend herself in combat, even teaching her variations of wrestling attacks.
Do you recall teaching me to wrestle?
You were my best pupil.
Now the student has become the master.
Round 1, fight!
And she may have even taught her some of her own magnificent musical abilities. After the death of Queen Sindel, Sheeva was placed as the master jailer of Shao Kahn's dungeon, responsible for keeping its prisoners contained. During the events of Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, Shao Kahn was reeling from his loss against Liu Kang and invaded Earthrealm with his armies after resurrecting the dead Queen Sindel. Sheeva was once again placed in the role of her protector, but the dynamics of the royal family had changed completely. Princess Kitana and her longtime friend Jade had turned against the Emperor and were aiding Earthrealm's warriors in order to rescue Sindel from Shao Kahn's influence. Sheeva confronted them both but was defeated in combat. She returned to Outworld shamed by her failure and discovered a betrayal that would change her allegiances forever. Considering her defeat and the downfall of both Goro and Kintaro, Shao Kahn no longer treated the Shokan as the champions of his army. Instead, he placed the Centaurian Motaro as the head of his extermination squads. To Sheeva and the rest of the Shokan, this was a massive insult. The Centaurians were the natural rivals of the Shokan, and the only thing that kept them from a full-scale war was the overall authority of Shao Kahn keeping peace in place. With the Centaurians in power and at the forefront of Kahn's armies, they attacked the Shokan and the Emperor allowed it. Only the strongest would be part of his empire, and Sheeva decided to answer Shao Kahn's betrayal with her own. She would sneak into his fortress on Earthrealm and murder both Motaro and Shao Kahn. While investigating the inside of the fortress, she found the Black Dragon mercenary Kano after having been nurtured back to health from his battle with Sonya Blade. She knew Kano as a man with no honor and offered him precious valuable jewels from Kuotan's mines. In exchange for his help in assassinating Kahn, Kano agreed, but Kano also understood that he stood no chance against Shao Kahn. He took the jewels, but had no plans to honor his word. On the way to the Emperor, Sheeva tracked down Motaro and attacked him without warning. Motaro survived, but was critically injured in the attack. In her non-canon Mortal Kombat 3 and Trilogy ending, Sheeva successfully brings down Shao Kahn and returned home to Outworld, freeing both Outworld and Earthrealm from his reign. Then she works to restore the glory of the Shokan race. In the canon storyline, after the battle with Motaro, Kano offered to distract Shao Kahn so Sheeva could attack him. Instead, Kano warned him of the incoming attack, and she was battered by the might of Shao Kahn's immense strength. The Shaolin monk and the grand champion of Mortal Kombat, Liu Kang, put a stop to Kahn's invasion, and Sheeva returned to Outworld, barely alive. It would be some time before she recovered from her injuries. Through the years, the universe of Mortal Kombat faced many threats, and Sheeva didn't make her return until the Battle of Armageddon. Continuous combat was ripping the fabric of reality, and all of the realms were in danger of coming undone. The only way to stop Armageddon was by defeating the powerful creature Blaze and receiving its godlike powers. Sheeva joined the Elder God of Death Shinnok's army of darkness in order to claim the power of Blaze, and all of the combatants clashed at the bottom of the Pyramid of Argus, where Blaze awaited at the top. In her non-canon Mortal Kombat Armageddon ending, Sheeva defeated Blaze and became a destroyer of realms.
Of victory over Blaze, Sheeva was blinded by a flash of energy. When she regained her sight, she found herself standing before the Elder Gods. They were clearly alarmed that neither Taven nor Dagon had completed the quest. Their desire to prevent further turmoil prompted them to transform Sheeva into a goddess of destruction. One by one, she laid waste to the realms using a powerful Kamidogu. When the realms reformed, nothing was as it had been.
In the canon storyline, she battled through the combatants in her way, attempting to reach the top of the pyramid. was injured by an arrow fired by Nightwolf and ultimately killed by the blind swordsman Kenshi on the steps of the pyramid, along with most of the other warriors present. The battlefield was a wasteland of bodies, and only Raiden remained to stop the blaze-powered Shao Kahn from recreating all realms in his image. In a last-ditch effort to save the realms, Raiden sent a message to himself in the past using his medallion to prevent Kahn from ever claiming the power of Blaze. In this altered history, reverting back to Earthrealm's 10th Mortal Kombat tournament and Liu Kang's original victory over Shang Tsung, Sheeva's origins remained intact. She was still part of Kahn's Shokan army, and this time she fought on behalf of Shang Tsung in Outworld. During the tournament, the Lin Kuei Cyrax, still in his human form, began having doubts about his clan's methods, and Sheeva was sent alongside Baraka to assassinate him. This would be her first loss, and her first failure serving her masters. After losing the battle against Cyrax, Sheeva was placed in charge of guarding the captured Sonya Blade. Shang Tsung ordered her kidnapping to coax the Earthrealm warriors to travel into Outworld for a second tournament.
If you had not dishonored yourself by attempting escape, we would not be here in this sewer.
Sonya!
She is the Emperor's property, human.
She's nobody's property. Wins. I guess extra arms don't make a difference.
She was also responsible for watching over Kitana after she was imprisoned at Shao Kahn's request. The young princess she helped raise and teach was now the prisoner she needed to ensure remained contained. But Kitana's friend and bodyguard Jade would present quite the challenge. As in the original timeline, the Shokan employed by Shao Kahn were failing him at every turn. After Shao Kahn's defeat at the hands of Liu Kang, as destined, he invaded Earthrealm directly with his forces, and Sheeva was part of his invading army. In her non-canon Mortal Kombat 9 ending, Sheeva turned against Kahn and destroyed him, and found a new home in Earthrealm.
Sheeva had recognized the signs. Her people were out of favor and in decline. The Centaur would soon dominate Shao Kahn's forces, while the Shokan would move inexorably toward extinction. Sheeva's act of defiance, her murder of Shao Kahn, made possible a new home for her people among the mortals of Earthrealm, a world free of both Tarkatan and Centaur. With cooperation from world leaders, Sheeva secured for the Shokan the continent of Australia. In return, they would protect Earthrealm from future invasions. For her leadership, Sheeva was exalted, the most honorable Shokan in their proud history.
In the canon storyline, Sheeva never betrayed Shao Kahn and continued to fight Earthrealm combatants during the invasion, suffering defeat one last time to Cabal in his newfound speed. In the end, the Outworld invasion failed and was stopped by Raiden at a heavy cost. Many of his chosen warriors were killed in battle, and Sheeva returned to Outworld free of Shao Kahn. Outworld was now in a state of civil war. Various factions fought for control, and Prince Goro was maimed by Kotal Kahn. Goro's father, the king of the Shokan, was killed. The Shokan had no ruler. Sheeva participated in a fierce battle to compete for the crown among her fellow Shokan warriors, and won the fight to rule the people. The warrior Sheeva was now Queen Sheeva of the Shokan. She ruled fairly in a way that avoided shedding more Shokan blood, forming a peace with Kotal Kahn, but would soon find herself forced to enter another conflict. A devious cleric from the Chaos Realm, Havoc, was seeking to summon the hidden amulet of Shinnok in order to use its power to rule over the realms. In order to do so, he convinced the Outworld General Rico that he was destined to become a blood god, and Havoc used blood magic to make him believe that he was invincible. Kotal Kahn and others traveled to Shang Tsung's island in order to end this threat, and Sheeva was hesitant to rush into the fight. Instead, she sent scouts to investigate the current conditions of the conflict. The scouts were returned in pieces. Havoc was well aware that Sheeva was on the way and used Shinnok's amulet after he tore it from within Rico's body to destroy her ship. Only Kintaro and Sheeva survived the attack, and they made their way onto the shoreline where they found Kotal's ally D'Vorah. Sheeva and Kintaro teamed up with D'Vorah's squad and found Havoc's hideout, where multiple combatants were already enslaved and powered up by his blood magic. Havoc's plot was put to an end by Scorpion, and Sheeva struggled to hold back his now mindless slaves. With Havoc's beheading, his blood magic wore off, and the combatants returned to normal. During the battle, Kintaro lost his life at the hands of a possessed Sonya Blade, and Sheeva mourned the loss of her fellow Shokan. After the more turbulent times settled in Outworld, and Kotal Kahn established himself as ruler, Shinnok's mother Kronika, the titan responsible for the flow of time, enacted a plot to wipe out the current history of the universe and reset the timeline in a new era that she deemed perfect. Shinnok had already resurrected and was beheaded by Raiden. Resetting time would be Kronika's ultimate revenge. And as she put her plan into motion, rifts in time opened and the timelines merged together, as warriors from the past and present existed in the same place. In this temporary era, Shao Kahn had returned and reclaimed his throne from Kotal, and Kitana sought an audience from Queen Sheeva in order to rebel against her adoptive father.
You are passionate, Princess Kitana, but I am not persuaded.
Queen Sheeva, haven't your people fared better under Kotal Kahn than Shao Kahn?
In some ways. But we can only guess which Kahn will prevail in this struggle. We gain no advantage choosing sides now.
Kotal Kahn has been captured by the Tarkatans. We must act quickly, before he is executed.
My people will not rally to a Kahn held in chains.
We have Earthrealm's support, Your Highness. With yours, we can guarantee victory.
There is no path to victory without the Tarkatans. If they can be swayed to Kotal Kahn, it would be to our advantage to join him.
Sheeva wouldn't make a move without the allegiance of the Tarkatans as well, in order to create an army large enough to stand against Shao Kahn. And Kitana worked to gain Baraka's allegiance as well. Sheeva finally agreed to stand beside Kitana against her father. With Sheeva's help, Kitana ousted Shao Kahn from power and blinded him with a violent attack. She became the new empress and agreed that power would be split equally among Outworld races, including Queen Sheeva representing the Shokan. In the final battle against Kronika, Sheeva led the Shokan and stormed Kronika's fortress. In her non-canon Mortal Kombat 11 ending, Sheeva defeated Kronika and used her powers to turn the Shokan into a peaceful race with unexpected results.
A lifetime of battle prepared me to conquer Kronika, but as the keeper of time, I must be a creator, not a conqueror. I thought of the many sons and daughters I've lost in battle through the years, imagined a better destiny for my kin, a history where the Shokan build rather than destroy. The results were catastrophic. Comfort and ease extinguished the dragon's fire that once lit the heart of every Shokan. They became weak, corrupted fools. The timeline had to start again. War, for all its tragedies, is the forge of Shokan will. My people will fight. Many will die. But I will lead us to victory. And in the aftermath, the dragon's fire will blaze in Shokan hearts for eternity.
In the canon storyline, Liu Kang, now Fire God Liu Kang, destroyed Kronika and became responsible for the flow of time. But a mistake had happened. During the final battle, he shattered her crown, a device necessary to control her hourglass. Without it, time itself would shatter, and even Fire God Liu Kang wouldn't be able to restart history. Shang Tsung appeared with Fujin and Nightwolf from a void where they were banished by Kronika. They confirmed this truth, and Liu Kang sent them back into the current timeline to retrieve the crown. In this timeline, the group planned to capture the undead revenant of Queen Sindel and return her to life in order to gain her help in the fight against Kronika. They succeeded in collecting her body, but needed access to a soul chamber to restore her to life, and to access that, they would need Sheeva's permission.
Escort you and your comrades to the Soul Chamber?
Yes.
Have you come from the future only to insult me? I am no sword for hire.
This request is far below your present station, Your Highness. But defeating Kronika depends on us reaching that chamber.
Why?
Because we must restore Sindel.
My Empress. You've captured her revenant.
Together. Fujin and I can restore her to life.
Why? To make a slave of her, as Quan Chi did?
So that she can aid us against Kronika. But you have my vow. She will return free of all influence.
As I recall, you were bloodbound to Empress Sindel.
I was her protector for life.
How it must have pained you when she died. That was not your fault. You could not save her then. Now you can.
Then No. We must present this to Kitana Kahn.
Respectfully, Your Highness. If we approach Kitana,
she'll cut Shang Tsung's head off.
Kitana never appreciated my contributions to the Empire.
Sheeva's loyalties were torn. She was loyal to Kitana Kahn and had equal responsibility for Outworld's rulership. She knew Kitana would be horrified by the plot to restore her mother, but Sheeva also had a long-standing loyalty to Sindel at the same time. Sheeva reluctantly agreed to help, but multiple obstacles would stand in their way. Baraka's sense of smell was incredible, and you can detect that Shang Tsung was traveling among the group, posing as a Shokan, and Sheeva had to step in to keep the obstacles at bay.
Know your place, Outlander.
What in Argus's name is happening out here? Shang Tsung. I thought I saw you slither away from the Colosseum.
This is Sindel's revenant. We can restore her to life, so she can join the fight against Kronika.
Please, Jade, we must enter.
You have yet to convince me. The Soul Chamber is occupied. Kotal uses it to mend his broken spine.
Sheeva? Where is Jade? And why is he here?
You need more time to heal.
I am strong enough to kill him.
Today he is our ally. With his sorcery, Sindel can live again.
Necromancy is forbidden. You have taken leave of your senses.
Do your work. I can hold Kotal.
Queen Sheeva.
Kitana Kahn,
Hold your tongue. Jade told me everything.
Thanks to Sheeva's strength and determination to see Sindel resurrected, Fujin and Shang Tsung were successful. They restored Sindel back to life, and set in motion an unexpected betrayal. In this version of history, Sindel was no longer the benevolent ruler of Edenia and loving mother with a deep hatred for Shao Kahn. This Sindel fully sought to find Shao Kahn and restore him, in order to rule by his side. And Sheeva paid the price for learning the secret.
Wife, it's you.
Hush, husband. I'm here. The Soul Chamber will heal your wounds. Then we'll discipline Kitana and take back our throne.
Empress? Tell me I misheard. Tell me you would not betray your daughter.
She takes after her father, Sheeva. Jared was a weak king. Kitana is a weaker Kahn.
Weak? She defeated Shao Kahn.
Yet she lacked the resolve to kill him. Now she will learn. Enemies must be crushed, lest they rise again.
That was true once. But now there is a better way to lead.
Kitana murdered your Shokan brethren. Sheeva challenged her and suffered this punishment. Swear your allegiance, and I shall see her avenged.
This was Sheeva's final appearance in Mortal Kombat's current history, destroyed by the Queen that she swore loyalty to. In the end, Shang Tsung and Fire God Liu Kang fought over Kronika's crown, and a new era was created using the Hourglass. What will Sheeva's role be in this new timeline? Will she lead her people into glory, or will she again be relegated to be a servant of outruled warlords?